Welcome back to Cancelled Videos. These are some video ideas I had that stayed on the cutting room floor. The title is clickbait. I do cover 5 video ideas and I do think they're great, but I don't think I'll never make them, you know. Just wait for the time to be right. Some of them might get made, but these ideas have some issues with them that are keeping me from making them currently. Quick interruption. I'm having a fan art contest to redesign/design my next VTubing model, and best of all, it has a cash prize of $150. Participating is super simple. All you need to do is draw a ref of what you think the next model should look like, and submit it. You only need 2 front views, one with clothes on, and one with clothes off so I can see the pattern. For more details like ideas, refs of my personas, where to send your ref, and suggestions, check out this video in the comments and description. The last day you can submit your entry is July 31st. I miscounted the days, so if you saw the contest already, you actually have way more time than you thought. Anyway, in the back you probably saw some pictures, and those were some of the submitted ideas. There's just 6.5 weeks left, so good luck! Alright, let's get started with Build-A-Furry and game show streams. That's 2, but they both had the same issues. So Build-A-Furry was a stream and video series idea that I had that was essentially ripped straight from Drawfee, but with a furry or original species twist on it. It was essentially furry-based art challenges, and I'd host, handle the prompts, the rules, and do the majority of handling the chat so that the artist could focus on drawing and then jump in and out of talking with the rest of us whenever they felt like it. Some of the really great prompts that I had were drawing your persona as Garfield characters, make an original species in an hour, make a randomized original species, and stuff like that. I've done a couple of these with Brooke in the past, and the plan was that as we went and it got more popular, we'd get more guest artists on. It was a lot of fun, and the streams were short, and honestly it was the best thing for this channel, even if I wasn't doing the art myself. Problem is, it's hard to find co-hosts for this idea. Turns out talented people are busy all the time. You'd think I'd know that, but I'm not talented. The other issue is most artists I asked can't draw quick enough to do it in a 2-hour stream, or they said that they were interested and never got back to me. I can't cancel streams a lot, otherwise people won't show up in the future, so that leaves me with the backup plan of playing games instead of doing the guest spot should the guests choose to cancel. Which isn't great for a channel that has nothing to do with games. I say that, but I'm still playing games on my main channel, so, like, I don't know. Anyway, I'd like to bring this idea back even if it's only once a month, but to be fair, I'm not an artist and I should have never considered this idea no matter how good it is. As for the other idea, game shows, this was another idea I did, a couple of these starring my partners, Mabel, Connie, and Rook. The game shows were basically the kind of thing that you'd expect on an online game show, party games that don't require a ton of visuals and props to work. We weren't doing Family Feud number 1000, but it was still very simple games. We were doing stuff like Guess the Furry Stereotype, and I'd incorporate a secret rule the contestants don't know. Then they'd have to guess what the secret rule was at the end. I have a lot of ideas for this one too, like Price is Right Dealer's Den Edition, Price is Right Furry Art, Name That Daddy, where you guess who a bar character is based on a close-up of their chest, and Find the Yowie, where you guess whether the Yowie title is real or something I made up, and weird stuff like that. Just some very creative and out there ideas. The reason this one fell off is because we started this around the time that Rook was moving in, so we had to drop everything and it was hectic for a while. By the time that we could get back to doing it, we kind of forgot to keep doing it. I really did love doing this. You could tell by the ideas that I really like doing it, and some of my more creative video ideas. It was also something not a ton of people could do. Not everyone has 3 partners that they can force to entertain an audience for them on demand. This also had great collab potential, since pretty much anyone could come in and it'd work. Both ideas are good, and I would like to do both of them at least once a month. But scheduling's a pain. I'd have to always plan it with no collab in mind just in case. Myconians Remade. This is something I've thought about making a bunch. Myconians is my first original species. It was what my sheep species was. I don't like how this species turned out because I was getting asked to turn my model into an original species quite a bit, so I caved and I rushed it out. Now the only thing that defines a Myconian is having an antenna. I'd like to get assets drawn, the species remade, adopts, bases, species variants, and take it seriously this time, but I don't know if the investment would be worthwhile. I don't think people really liked Mycos all that much the first time, and that's fair, it really was just antenna on a furry. I'm trying a new species on my own time right now, and I don't think I have the skill needed quite yet to make something like Myconians. not without making them in a very deformed style like chibi or something like that. Furry Let's Plays. This might seem confusing because I do these on my gaming channel. I've also always said that gaming is oversaturated and you can't break into it unless you have a gimmick. You need something that sets you. I'm just saying it's not enough to turn on your camera and play anything. You can't just talk about random junk over Call of Duty gameplay anymore. You kind of have to do something different. Before I did Sera's Things, I did Sera Proto, which is now called Daddyless Behavior. On it I did reviews, another oversaturated gaming genre, tips, and Let's Plays. In YouTube, these three things are considered entirely different, so it wasn't good for the channel to have a serious review or a really good tip video buried among frequent Let's Plays. When I made Sera's Things, I thought I could get away with gaming videos as long as the gaming videos were about furry content. I did a couple game recommendation videos which are just reviews and they did okay, like a couple thousand. They might do a little better now. I don't know. I release one every so often to see how they're doing. They were adequate, but they weren't doing numbers like the original Species videos were. So I felt like their presence distracted from what you all view as the actual content of the channel. I always wanted to be a gaming YouTuber as well, but I'm not great at games, I'm just knowledgeable about them. My favorite genre, JRPGs, also does really poorly on YouTube. I really wish I was able to get in on Let's Plays when they were still popular and a new channel actually stood a chance. It feels like I got off of a slot machine just to watch the next person hop on and hit the jackpot. I still try to make it work. After all, I have a gaming channel and I have live streams multiple days a week. But it's clear that this isn't the direction for me. There are interesting things I could do, of course. I could do species videos about video game species, starting with pet games to get you all comfortable with it as I slowly go into other games and potentially gaming as a whole. I can make interesting furry game Let's Plays, but there isn't a point here, as they often get ignored. I delisted about 10 of them or so. Problem is that I get mixed messages with these. When I start a new project, I'll poll the community for opinions, and every time you all want me to start the thing that I talk about, and then I put it on this channel. Then I put it on this channel, and it doesn't get any views. It's not your fault that they don't get watched. YouTube decided for you that you watch me for a specific kind of video, and if it falls outside of that, YouTube won't recommend it to you. People really wanted to watch me play Fuga Melodies of Steel here on Sera's Things, but then it got very little views. But that was also like a long time ago. That was like first year, so first few months actually. But if I post it to the gaming channel, it gets way less views because most of you don't want to follow another channel, or you don't see the post or announcement video about the channel and don't know it exists. Video Game Species Chow. This is one of the many scripts that I wrote up and never turned into a video. I even recorded the audio and recorded the gameplay for it, and I still never edited it and posted it. Low 3D Arts, who heard I was thinking about making a video game species video, even made me a model specifically for this one. So I feel particularly bad about not releasing this one. But one of the worst feelings for me is to put a lot of work into a video just to post it to a less than lukewarm reception. It makes me feel like I wasted a lot of time, especially if I did a lot of work editing. But some of the videos I've worked the hardest on still flop, and that really discourages me from trying. When it happens, I'll post it to the community tab, remind people that it exists, feeling like I'm essentially begging people to watch it. And that doesn't feel good. If something is just slightly too far outside of where YouTube says I am niche-wise, then that video won't get recommended or watched. I feel like I have to tie it in directly with Original Species, which alienates the audience that isn't here for Original Species or doesn't know what an Original Species is, and instead clicked on it for the video game aspect or the video about Chow aspect. I also felt like the script for this one wasn't the best, since I have to make it as close to being an Original Species video for it to even stand a chance. I have to make sure that the video focuses on that aspect. The script I wrote for it would be under 10 minutes. Chow really don't have a lot of lore going on, or even less so when you're talking specifically about Sonic Adventure 2. So I really felt like it wasn't a worthwhile video to make, and I kept delaying it until I just forgot that it existed. I think anything video game related just wouldn't work for this channel, or I would have to make it like it's not made for this channel. If I make it how I intended it, then it wouldn't do well outside of the subs that watch everything I post immediately. People outside of Original Species spaces still have no clue what Original Species are. So how do I pitch this video in a way that works both for my core audience and gets new people to watch? I really can't think of a way to do it. But I'll probably just rewrite it and rip the band-aid off and post it anyway. Could this video work if I made it now? I honestly don't know. I haven't tried to venture outside of Original Species stuff besides stream highlights. Those did well enough, but not well enough that I make it my main content. And think it was kind of making people lose interest in the channel and stuff like that. Like, they got good views and stuff like that, but I lost a few patrons doing it. And so that kind of pressures me into making specific videos because I worry about losing patrons. But yeah, I think it would at least be worth the risk to try it anyway. But I still feel like it would have to be primarily focused around Chow, which would mean a very short video. Video game species Lombax. This one is much the same. Even though these gaming videos wouldn't be Let's Plays, they'd be too much of a risk. There are dozens of original species that I could make videos on that would take less time to make and would do better than if I were to release these as gaming ones. I never wrote the script for this one, but I did stream myself playing a lot of Ratchet & Clank games to prepare for it. After 2 games and an issue with the PS3 recording, I scrapped it. The PS3 has this thing called HDCP encoding. It prevents people like me from recording from the system using a capture card. They did this so people wouldn't record movies and upload them to piracy sites. To get around it, you need an extra piece of hardware that bypasses the encoding. They're super cheap, but I never got around to ordering it. Also, the PS4 does this, but you can turn it off for games. I wasn't feeling poster dread with this one as much because it was shut down due to technical difficulties. Could this video work? Same as with Chow, yeah, I think so, but this one is even more gaming heavy than Chow. Original Species people got into them because of pet games, and Chow Garden was a pet game. Lombaxes are a species from a game that doesn't have any overlap with Original Species whatsoever. That means that there are a couple of issues. Gaming content on a channel, not about gaming, so it wouldn't get much views at first. Then when it does get views, people would check out my channel and realize that this kind of video is way off from my usual stuff. I've gotten people into Original Species without them having heard of them before, and some of them weren't even furries. But I don't trust my ability to do that enough to think that it's reliable. If I did it, it would have to be after I do several other video game species videos. If I did a bunch of pet games first, transitioning into non-pet games would be much easier. I don't want to do Original Species stuff forever. Right now, the only significant boost of viewership I get is the ones based on drama. Seriously, my top 3 most viewed videos are about drama. Chimerion, Citra, and Mochiraptors. My best and hardest worked on videos are passed up on in favor of me spouting the same junk about Zosh that everybody already knew. That's part of why I didn't make Original Species for quite a long time after that video. It felt pointless to make since I knew it wouldn't do as well. A lot of people agree on what my best videos are, and they aren't my most viewed ones. But I digress. The Lombax video could work, but it would require me potentially changing my niche to do so. The difference between the Lombax video and my main content is too different, I think. And that was number 5. If you liked it, there are quite a few more that I have. I think a lot of people want to be YouTubers and streamers, and it's great to have a dream, but I think you need to learn early on that you're not always the best person to execute your ideas, and that's okay. By knowing your limits, you know what videos are best for you. So figure out your spot and start working from around there. Thanks for watching, but also thanks to my wonderful patrons on Patreon who help me make videos that don't get cancelled. People like Rask, Ver, WildKitty69, Beef, Bait, Cryptid Artha, Sly, Colorado Blue, Vaderson, Linky, and Kit Chimera, and Malding Brick. Thank you for watching.